Hello and welcome to the lecture series on design of experiments. My name is Saurabh Sirsikar, and in this lecture series I cover various concepts of design of experiment from the basics to the advanced, and also I cover some numerical from the reference textbooks. So today I am covering an example which is unsolved in the book Box Hunter and Hunter. The name of the book is Statistics for Experimenters. This example particularly deals with water treatment facility. So this is the example. I have drawn a sketch for you. There is water which needs to be treated. So impure water is given to the treatment facility, and they add some chemicals like chemical P or chemical Q. They give it heat and they stir the solution. So all of this purifies the water and gives us a less polluted water sample. Basically, our objective in this experiment is to minimize the amount of pollutant. Okay, pollutant is something which pollutes the water, so we have to minimize that. So how do we do that? We take the water, we mix some cleaning agent like chemical P, like chemical Q, we heat it and we stir it. This green thing is the stirrer. So these are the three factors which we are going to consider in this experiment. So here I have made the table which states that chemical A we have denoted with A, factor A. So this is chemical type. Okay, so there are two types of chemicals. So first one is P and second one is Q. So I will write it with green. So all the higher levels I am writing with green today, and lower levels I will be writing in red. So here you can see that it is a qualitative factor where it can not take numerical values, and whereas temperature is a numerical factor because it can take numerical values. So a lower level of temperature, that is factor B, is 72 degrees Fahrenheit and higher level is 100 Fahrenheit. Similarly, stirring speed can be of two levels. Lower level can be 200 rpm and higher level will be 400 rpm. So you can see here that we have these three factors, each factor having two levels. So this makes this entire thing as a 2 raised to 3 experiment, that is 2 levels and 3 factors. So we will be having 8 number of runs. Okay, so objective I will write here. So in the systematic approach toward any experiment, we saw that the first step was to understand what we were going to measure as an outcome. So here we are going to measure the pollutant and the unit is going to be pounds of pollutant. Second step was to find the objective. So here our objective is that we want to find a combination of settings which will give us minimum pollutant in the water after treatment, right? Then the third is determining the correct factors which are affecting the outcome. So here we have identified three factors. So F stands for factors. So here A, B, C, and we have determined the lower and higher levels of each of the factors. So now the next step is to design our experiment. So to design the experiment, we will write first the standard order: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 and 8. Now I have factors A, B and C. So how do I design a combination such that each combination possible will be covered? So I have to make a sequence like this. Now what I will do is, first I will do it for A. Okay, so for A I will change the signs fast. Okay, so -1 + 1, -1 + 1. So I'm using different colors for, so this will be +1 + 1. So you see here that I am changing the signs quickly from lower level to higher level, lower level, higher level, lower level, higher level. Okay, now when I go to B, I will change the sign slowly. Lower level, then I change it to higher level. Here I change it fast, here I changed it slow. Now for C I will change it in the slowest way. So minus 1 minus 1 minus 1 minus 1, and then plus 1 plus 1 plus 1 and plus 1. Okay, so these are the 8 combinations which are possible for these 3 factors at these 2 levels. Okay, so this is known as the 5th step, that is designing the experiment. And the next very important step is to conduct this experiment. To conduct this experiment, I cannot conduct the experiment in this sequence of the standard order. What I have to do is I have to make 8 chits. On each chit I will write number from 1, on other chit 2, on other chit 3, and so on up to 8. So 8 chit with numbers ranging from 1 to 8. Now I will randomly pick up one chit, and whatever the number is, suppose the number is 5, then I will do the standard order 5th experiment combination first. So 1, then if the chit number 2 comes, then I will do this as the second experiment, then 3 4 5 7 8. So I will do the experiments in this random order, not in the standard order. Okay, and I will get the output. So at the output I am going to measure the pollutant in pounds. So after the author conducted these experiment, what outcomes he got is 5 36 33 3 5 4. So after running the experiment, our next step is to do the analysis, and the first step in doing analysis of an experiment is to draw a cube plot. Today you can see an actual cube as a cube plot. In the earlier videos there were 2 factors and 2 levels, so I used to draw just one square. I used to assign A to the horizontal axis and B to the vertical axis. I used to assign minus and plus, also minus and plus, like this. So this is supposed to be lower level of B and higher level of B. This is lower level of A and higher level of A. Now we have one more axis, that is the depth. So I will assign C to the depth, and here the higher level will be here and the lower level will be here. Okay, so this is a cube plot. Now we have to complete the cube plot by putting all these readings of outputs on the cube plot. So I will go like this, 5 30. You can simply follow this sequence which I am telling if you conduct the experiment in the standard order. So 5 36 and 33. Now I will go to the back face. Okay, so on this back face, for this vertex I will write as 4 3, and this is 5 and this is 4. Okay, so yeah. Now to understand this cube plot, just look that the negative level of C is on the front face of this vertical surface, right? So first 4 readings I have plotted over here, and the next 4 which are having positive of C, I have plotted it on the backside surface. Okay, so 4 3 5 4. So this is how we plot the cube plot. Now just plotting it is not sufficient. We need to understand that at this particular setting, I will write it again, here we have a 3. So we found that at this particular setting we are getting the least amount of pollution, and what is our objective? Our objective is to minimize the pollutant. So we have found a setting, that is this one, which is giving us the minimum pollution. Okay, but still we will find out the main effect of each and every factor. Okay, as we did earlier, to find main effect of A, we did 30 minus 5 and 33 minus 6, and we took an average of these two differences, right? So we will do similar way, that is 33 minus 6 and 30 minus 5. So this is 27, this is 25. Now as a main effect of A, we also can do 4 minus 5, which is at the backside surface. So 4 minus 5. I am always doing higher minus lower. Okay, 3 minus 4. So now we can see the average of this. 50 by 4, that is 12.5. P to chemical Q. Now what do you understand by this number 12.5 is that when you go from the lower level or the chemical A, that is chemical P, to chemical Q, on an average the amount of pollutant increases by 12.5 pounds. So this is what an engineer who is doing this experiment can explain to the manager who does not understand this kind of statistics. Okay, so just doing the maths is not going to be sufficient. You need to understand the numbers which are coming out. So now out of this 12.5 we are going to report only half of the value. So reporting half of the value, we would do 12.5 into 0.5, so that comes out to be 6.25. that comes out to be 6.25. So in the predictive model I will be adding 6.25 into XA. Okay, so now I hope you have understood how to get the main effect of any factor. So if I am able to find the main effect of A, I will be able to find the main effect of B. How I will do that is that I will take the differences of higher levels of B and lower level of B. Okay, so what I will do is 6 minus 5, 33 minus 30, 4 minus 3 and 5 minus 4. I will take an average of all these 4 differences and report half of that value. That will be my main effect of B. Similarly, if I want main effect of C, I will do this like 3 minus 30, 4 minus 33, 5 minus 6 and 4 minus 5. So differences I will get, I will average them and I will report half of that value in the equation of the predictive model. So this is how you do the main effect. I am not going to write all of it here because it will be very tedious and the video will be very long. So we don't want that. Now we want to understand that there are going to be interactions. Just by looking at this plot, can you see that there is something which is happening here that is not visible over here or here, because we are getting very high amount of pollutant here. So you can see that on this plane, that is the front plane, the pollutant changes from 33 to 6, but when we have higher level of C, the pollutant change from 4 to 5. So there is a lot of change happening on this plane. So we come to know that factor A and factor C have some interaction effect going on. So let us calculate that interaction effect of AC. To get the interaction effect, I will consider only the top surface first. Okay, so top surface, I mean that the level of B is positive, the level of B is high level. So B at high level, we have 4 minus 5 when C is positive, 4 minus 5. So I will write here 4 minus 5. And when B is at higher level but C is at lower level, okay, what we have 33 minus 6, 27. So next, what do we do? Whenever we are calculating interaction, we take the difference of these differences and divide it by 2. Like for main effect, we directly take the average, but here we take the difference between the differences. So what I will do is minus 1 minus 27 divided by 2. So this will be minus 14. Okay, and similarly now we will focus on the lower plane. So lower plane, what is happening? B is at lower level. So here you can see B is at lower level and C can be at plus and minus. Okay, so now here we will do at C at plus level. So 3 minus 4 minus 1 and 30 minus 5. 30 minus 5, that is 25. So again I will take the difference of these two, minus 1 minus 25 divided by 2, and I will get it as minus 13. Okay, so now we have interaction effect AC at the upper plane and at the lower plane as minus 14 and minus 13 respectively. Now when I want to put it in the equation of the predictive model, I have to take the average of these two values, and the average of these two values is minus 13.5. So average is minus 13.5, and what I will report in the equation is half of this average. So half of the average is minus 13.5 multiplied by 0.5. So it turns out to be minus 6.75. So now you have understood how to calculate the interaction effect in a 2-level 3-factor experiment. Okay, so similarly there can be interactions between A and B or B and C. We have already calculated for A and C. Okay, so apart from that there can be a 3-way interaction between A, B and C. Okay, so an interaction can be calculated for the 3-factor interaction as well. So you can see here that this type of calculation is slightly lengthy and a bit tedious. You can make a mistake which will ruin the entire exercise. So I am going to show you a very easy method to do all these calculations, and you will be so comfortable in finding the predictive model like this. So this I have found the predictive model for this experiment here. So you can see that the predictive model has terms for main effect of A, main effect of B, main effect of C. Okay, this are the interaction effects on the second line. So XA, XB, so interaction of AB, interaction of BC, interaction of AC, and the interaction of ABC. So all of it is there in the predictive model. Okay, so you can imagine the amount of calculations required if you go with the conventional method. So in the upcoming video I am going to show you how to do it in a faster way, but what I want to do is calculate the main effect of B and C and match it with this answer. Okay, so that will be a good exercise for you and it will enhance your understanding. So talking about understanding, I want to emphasize that just getting this kind of an equation, okay, this kind of equation is not going to make any sense unless we are going to interpret it. Okay, so here I want to mention that factor A, you can see the coefficient is quite high, 6.25, whereas for factor B it is slightly lower. So what we can say is factor A and factor C are significantly affecting the outcome, whereas factor B is not as much affecting the outcome. Similarly, the interaction between A and C is playing a significant role, whereas the other interactions are very weak. So they are negligible, so we can ignore them. So this is what we come to know after we do all this kind of exercise. So one more thing is that if we get a condition like pollution should be less than 10 pounds and cost of P, chemical P, is 1000 rupees per gram and cost of Q is 2000 rupees per gram. So if we are told to select one from this one combination out of these 8 combinations, which one would you go for? Okay, just pause the video and think about it. So here we can see that in this 6th combination we have the lowest amount of pollution, right? So any combination which is less than 10 pounds of pollution is acceptable for us. But if we look at the cost, we are going to save a lot of cost if we use the P chemical. So here, where what is P chemical? It is factor A at low level. So factor A at low level is this 5 and 6. Okay, so I think these two are the best suited. And if you look at this 5 here, the level of B is negative and also the level of C is negative. So if you see in this table, if you operate temperature at lower level and speed at lower level, probably you will need lower amount of electricity to be spent, and here also you will need lower amount of energy to be spent. So overall the cost required to operate at this setting of uh, this setting of -1 -1 -1 is going to be the most affordable, and it will keep the pollution under check. So if you have any other logic or understanding, please let me know in comments. And in the next video, I will just change this much, and within the same space, I will try to get all the effects and this predictive equation how to calculate without any software. Okay, so please stay tuned.